For your entire life, you have been fighting the wrong enemy. You have been told that your procrastination is a monster, a demon of laziness, a flaw in your character that you must whip into submission. You've read the books, you've downloaded the apps, you've made the to-do list that stretch for miles. You have tried to fight it with brute force, with shame, and with fleeting bursts of motivation. And every single time, after a short-lived victory, the monster returns. Sometimes it comes back even stronger, feeding on your failed attempts, leaving you more exhausted and more hopeless than before. You feel like a failure. You look at your goals, the business you want to start, the book you want to write, the health you want to reclaim, the person you want to become, and they seem to be drifting further and further away, lost in a fog of, "I'll do it tomorrow." I am here to tell you today, the fight is over. Not because we are surrendering, but because we are finally aiming our arrow at the real target. Your procrastination is not the monster. Your procrastination is a smoke signal. It is a desperate message from a deeper part of you, a messenger trying to tell you that something is profoundly out of alignment within your inner world. To continue attacking the messenger is an act of folly. Our task today is not to slay a monster, it is to understand the message, and to heal the wound that is the source of the fire. This is not another video with 5 productivity hacks that you will forget by next week. This is a 30-minute deep dive into the real cause of your inaction. And together, we are not just going to manage the symptom. We are going to cure the disease. The wisdom we are about to explore is rooted in principles that have been studied and practiced for over 1500 years. It comes from an ancient tradition known as Shaolin. And when I say the word Shaolin, I want you to clear your mind of the images you may have seen in movies. This is not merely about incredible physical feats. At its heart, Shaolin is a profound philosophy, a deep science of the mind and body dedicated to achieving self-mastery. It is a path to understanding the intricate operating system of a human being, so you can achieve inner peace, unwavering focus, and unlock the full, immense potential that currently lies dormant within you. It is a wisdom for any person, of any gender, in any walk of life, who seeks to become the master of their own inner world. And the first truth of this wisdom is this: the cause of your procrastination, the source of that fire, is not external. It is not your boss, your family, or your circumstances. The cause is a state of being. I call inner noise. Imagine an orchestra. For it to create a beautiful symphony, it needs one thing above all else: a conductor. The conductor provides the single, unifying vision. They tell the violins when to soar, the drums when to thunder, and the flutes when to whisper. Every instrument, though powerful on its own, submits its power to a single, focused intention. The result is harmony, power, and forward momentum. Now imagine that same orchestra without a conductor. The violins begin to play a sad tune of past regrets. The drums beat a frantic rhythm of future anxieties. The trumpets blare with the loud opinions of others. A phone buzzes in the corner, playing a song of distraction. Social media notifications scream for attention. Your own conflicting desires argue with each other. I should work out. No, I'm too tired. I need to finish this project, but I'd rather watch a movie. This is the state of the modern mind. This is inner noise. It is a cacophony of conflicting thoughts, fears, impulses, and distractions, all pulling you in 100 different directions at once. And in the midst of this chaos, you are expected to take clear, decisive, and powerful action. It is impossible. Action requires clarity. It requires a unified signal from the command center. But your command center is in a state of civil war. So, what does the mind do when it receives 1,000 conflicting orders? It does what any overwhelmed system does. It freezes. It shuts down. That feeling of paralysis you have when you look at an important task, that is the freeze. Procrastination is the system emergency brake, pulled by a mind that cannot compute a clear path forward through the noise. And this is not just philosophy, it is documented biology. In his groundbreaking work on the concept of ego depletion, pioneering social psychologist Dr. Roy Baumeister, in studies conducted with colleagues at institutions like Florida State University and published in leading journals such as the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, proved that our capacity for self-control and rational decision-making is a finite resource. Think of it like a muscle. Every single decision you make, no matter how small, what to wear, what to eat, which email to answer first, tires that muscle. The average adult is estimated to make over 35,000 remotely conscious decisions each day. Your mind is being bombarded, and your decision-making muscle, your prefrontal cortex, is being pushed to the point of exhaustion by midday. So, when you finally sit down to do that one important life-changing task, you are not lazy. Your mind is simply out of energy. The noise has won. Your inner orchestra is in chaos, and the conductor has left the building. So the first most crucial question is not how do I force myself to act. Sir, the real question is, how do I silence the noise? That question, how do I silence the noise, is the beginning of all true transformation, because it shifts your focus away from the external world of action and brings it to the internal world of causation, where all power resides. You cannot win the war on the battlefield if your command center is in chaos. We must first bring order to the command center. We must bring peace to the headquarters of the mind. And the path to silencing the noise is perhaps not what you expect. It does not begin with fighting. It does not begin with struggling to stop your thoughts or forcing yourself to feel a certain way. That is simply creating more noise, more conflict. No, the first step is deceptively simple. It is the foundation of all advanced mental training, and it is this: you must learn to separate yourself from the noise. You must realize that you are not the orchestra. You are the conductor who has been lost in the crowd. The first step of the cure is to become the silent observer. Right now, you are fused with your thoughts. When a thought of anxiety appears, you become anxious. When a thought of frustration appears, you become frustrated. When the voice in your head says, "I can't do this," you accept it as your own. The thought and the thinker have become one. This fusion is the root of all inner suffering and all inaction. To become the silent observer is to break this fusion. It is to take one step back within your own consciousness and watch the theater of your mind instead of being an actor on its stage. Imagine you are sitting at the bottom of a deep, clear lake. All around you, there is stillness. This stillness is your true nature, your core of awareness. Now, on the surface of the lake, the wind begins to blow. It creates ripples and waves. These waves are your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses. They are temporary disturbances on the surface. They are not the lake itself. The mistake we make is that we live on the surface. We let every wave toss us around. We believe we are the wave, and so we are in a constant state of turmoil. The practice of the silent observer is the practice of remembering that you are the deep, still water, not the fleeting waves on the surface. You can do this right now. Close your eyes for a moment, or simply soften your gaze. Take a deep breath. Now just listen. Listen to the thoughts in your head as if you were listening to the sounds in a room. Do not judge them. Do not fight them. Do not try to change them. Simply notice them. I have so much to do. Notice. This is a waste of time. Notice. This is a waste of time. Notice. This is a waste of time. Notice. We'll wonder what's for dinner. Notice. Each time you simply notice a thought without getting carried away by it, you are performing a revolutionary act. You are exercising a muscle of consciousness that has been dormant for most of your life. You are reclaiming your position as the conductor, the observer, the silent, powerful center of your own being. This is not a passive act. It is the highest form of mental activity. You are teaching your brain a new way to exist. Klein. And again, this is not just an ancient spiritual idea. It is cutting-edge neuroscience. The science of neuroplasticity has shown definitively that the brain changes itself based on our experiences and focus. Every time you practice being the silent observer, you are physically rewiring your own brain. Dr. Richard Davidson, founder of the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, has used fMRI technology to show that even short periods of mindfulness practice can create measurable changes in the brain. You are strengthening the neural pathways in your prefrontal cortex, the conductor part of your brain responsible for focus and self-control. Simultaneously, you are weakening the grip of the amygdala, the brain's primitive fear center, the part that screams in panic and creates much of the anxious noise. Think about the profound implication of this. You are not a victim of your brain's wiring. You are the architect of it. With every moment you choose to observe instead of react, you are physically building a brain that is calmer, clearer, and more powerful. You are building a brain that is less prone to procrastination because it is less prone to chaos. This practice is the antidote to the inner noise. It creates a space, a tiny gap of silence between a stimulus and your response. Before, a distracting thought would appear, and you would immediately follow it down a rabbit hole. Now, a distracting thought appears, and there is a pause, a moment of stillness. In that space, you have a choice. You can choose to engage with the thought, or you can choose to let it go and return your focus to what truly matters. This space is the birthplace of all self-mastery. Procrastination cannot survive in this space. Impulsive behavior cannot survive in this space. Mindless distraction cannot survive in this space. They all thrive on fusion, on unconscious reaction. Your practice of observation dissolves that fusion and replaces it with conscious choice. But once you have created this space, this silence, what is its purpose? Is the goal simply to be a detached observer for the rest of our lives? No, the silence is not the destination. The silence is the workshop. It is the clean, quiet, sacred space where you can finally begin the real work. The work of deciding what kind of symphony you actually want to create with your life. This brings us to the most powerful force that can possibly fill that silence. It is the force that has been overlooked in almost every discussion about productivity and procrastination. It is the force that gives all action its meaning. It is the force of purpose. So let's talk about purpose. In our modern world, we have romanticized this idea. We speak of finding your purpose as if it were a hidden treasure you must search for your entire life. We imagine that one day we will stumble upon a map and suddenly our life will have meaning. This idea, while beautiful, is a trap. It keeps you in a passive state of waiting. It makes purpose an external object separate from you. And it is this very belief that often fuels procrastination, because if you haven't found your one true purpose, then what's the point of taking any significant action at all? Today, we will discard this disempowering idea. I will offer you a new frame, a truth that is both ancient and at the very edge of modern scientific understanding. Your purpose is not found, it is declared. Your purpose is not discovered, it is created. It is created in the silent workshop of your mind, using the most powerful force in the universe. A force that ancient masters in the East and West understood intimately. A force that modern physics is only now beginning to grapple with. This is the force that I call the physics of faith. Let's start with science. Certainties. For the last century, quantum physics has been revealing a reality far stranger and more mysterious than anything we could have imagined. At the subatomic level, the foundation of everything in our universe does not exist as a solid thing. It exists as a wave of pure potential, an infinite field of possibility. Everything you can imagine, health and sickness, poverty and wealth, failure and success, all exist as probabilities in this quantum field. But here is the discovery that changes everything. Scientists found that these waves of potential only collapse into a single solid particle-like reality when they are observed. When a conscious observer directs their attention and measures a specific outcome, the universe of infinite potential seems to obey that focus and solidifies into that one specific reality. This is known as the observer effect. Think of the power contained in that idea. The act of focused observation is not a passive act of seeing what is there. It is a creative act that helps determine what becomes there. Now, let us leave the laboratory and travel back 2,000 years to the hills of Galilee. A great spiritual master, Jesus, was teaching his disciples a principle that sounds remarkably similar. He was not using the language of waves and particles, but the language of the soul, the language of faith. In the New Testament, in the book of Matthew chapter 17 verse 20, he says, "For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." For centuries, we have interpreted this as a call for blind belief, a mystical hope. But what if it was something more? What if it was a precise instruction on how to operate our consciousness? What the ancient masters called faith, quantum physics is beginning to describe as focused, unwavering observation. Faith is not hoping for a certain outcome while secretly fearing another. That is divided energy. That is a conductor telling the orchestra to play two different songs at once. The result is more noise. True faith is the act of a disciplined mind. It is the ability to hold a single possibility in your consciousness to the exclusion of all others, with such clarity and such conviction that you feel its reality before you can see it with your eyes. It is the focused energy of a conscious observer that commands the wave of potential to collapse into that one desired reality. Saying to the mountain, move, is not about shouting at a rock. It is about holding the reality of the mountain having already moved so firmly in your mind, in your faith, that the universe has no choice but to conform to your focused belief. You are not asking for a result. You are declaring it. This is the physics of faith. It is the bridge between the spiritual and the scientific, and it is the key to unlocking your true purpose. Because your purpose is the grandest mountain you choose to move. Your mission in life is the highest reality you choose to create out of the infinite field of potential. This is why silencing the inner noise is so vital. You cannot practice this level of focused faith if your mind is a chaotic orchestra. The practice of becoming the silent observer is what prepares the ground. It quiets all the other conflicting signals so that you can broadcast one pure, powerful signal into the field of potential. So, how does this cure procrastination? Procrastination is the natural state of a mind that has not declared its reality. It is the state of a mind that drifts in the sea of infinite possibilities, with no port to sail to, without a declared destination, a purpose held with faith. Every action feels meaningless, and inaction becomes the default. But when you use the silence you have cultivated to declare your purpose, everything changes. You are no longer adrift. You have given your life a direction. You have given your mind its marching orders. You have pointed at a specific reality and said, there, that is where we are going. To seize the ultimate cure for the why bother feeling, why becomes the single most powerful force in your life. It is the conductor that finally steps onto the podium and brings harmony to the entire orchestra of your being. You have declared your purpose. You have pointed your entire being towards a new reality. The conductor is on the podium, holding the sheet music for your life symphony, but the orchestra is still restless. For years it has been accustomed to chaos, and musicians are used to playing their own tunes. The moment the conductor turns their back, the old noise will begin to creep back in. Declaring your purpose is the first and most critical step, but it is not the last. You must now train your orchestra to hold its focus on the conductor. You must develop the power of unwavering concentration. You must forge your focus. This is not a mystical ability reserved for monks in remote mountains. It is a skill, and like any skill, it is built through consistent practice. It is the daily training that separates the amateur from the master. I will give you two simple, powerful exercises. These are not chores, they are the acts of forging your mind. The first exercise is single-pointed concentration. Find a simple object, a pen on your desk, a mark on the wall, a book. Set a timer for just 2 minutes. For those 2 minutes, your only task is to rest all of your attention on that single object. Observe its color, its shape, its texture. Let it fill your entire field of awareness. Inevitably, your mind will wander. A thought will arise. This is boring. I should be checking my email. The moment you notice your mind has wandered, and you will notice, is the moment of victory. Do not get angry. Do not be frustrated. Simply, gently, and without judgment, guide your attention back to the object. If your mind wanders 100 times in those 2 minutes, then you have had 100 opportunities to build your strength. Every single time you guide your focus back, you are doing one repetition, one bicep curl for the muscle of your attention. You are strengthening your conductor. Start with 2 minutes a day. It is a small price to pay for the power it will grant you. The second exercise is using your breath as an anchor. Your breath is a tool of immense power, and it is with you at every moment. When you feel the noise rising, when you feel the pull of distraction, simply bring your awareness to the sensation of your own breathing. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils. Feel your chest or abdomen expand. Feel the slight pause at the top. Feel the warm air leaving your body. Anchor your entire mind to this simple, rhythmic process. This practice brings you immediately into the present moment, the only place where you have any real power. The noise of past regrets and future anxieties cannot survive in the focused presence of the now. Use your breath as your sanctuary, a portable anchor of stillness you can access anywhere at any time. This type of training may seem simple, but it is the secret behind almost every form of peak performance known to humanity. The state that psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi famously called flow is a state of total absorption in a task, where the inner noise disappears and action becomes effortless and perfect. Top athletes call it the zone. Elite musicians, brilliant scientists, and even special forces operators all train in similar forms of breathwork and concentration to achieve this state at will, especially under extreme pressure. They understand that the quality of their external performance is determined entirely by the quality of their internal focus. The exercises you are learning are not just for overcoming procrastination. They are your training to enter these same states of high performance in your own life. You are learning to command your mind to create a state of flow whenever you need it. When you practice this inner work consistently, something remarkable begins to happen to your outer world. Your actions begin to change. You stop acting from the edge and you start acting from the center. What does this mean? Acting from the edge is reactive action. It is the busyness that comes from anxiety. It's checking your email 100 times. It's scrolling through social media to avoid a difficult task. It is the frantic, inefficient movement of a mind in chaos. It feels like you are doing a lot, but at the end of the day you have not moved any closer to your declared purpose. It is the orchestra playing loud and fast, but with no harmony and no direction. Conscious action, however, is born from your center. It is born from the stillness you have cultivated, aligned with the purpose you have declared, and powered by the focus you have forged. It is calm. It is deliberate. It is precise. It is the master archer who spends most of their time in stillness, breathing, aiming, focusing. But the release of the arrow is swift, effortless, and perfectly on target. Conscious action is not about doing more things. It is about doing the right thing at the right time with your full presence. One conscious action, 1 hour of focused work born from a clear mind, is more powerful than 10 hours of distracted, reactive busyness. It is the difference between flapping your arms frantically and taking one powerful stroke that propels you forward. So when you face your day, after you have connected with your purpose and practiced your focus, you simply ask your clear mind, what is the one conscious action I can take right now that moves me towards the reality I am creating? The answer will come, free from the noise. It will be simple. It will be clear. And your only job is to honor it. You now have the awareness of the observer. You have the direction of a declared purpose. You have the power of forged focus. And you understand how to take conscious action. You have the cure. But you must now leave this space and re-enter a world that is designed from the ground up to recreate the very noise you have learned to silence. A world of constant notifications, endless distractions, and relentless demands on your energy and attention. A cure is useless if you immediately walk back into the environment that caused the disease. Therefore, the final piece of our work together is to build a system of protection. A shield for your mind. A fortress to protect the sacred silence you have cultivated. Tribal. This is how you make the cure permanent. This system is built on simple, non-negotiable rituals. The first and most important is how you begin your day. The first hour of your morning dictates the quality of the next 12. For years you have likely given that first hour to your phone. You have allowed the noise of the world, the emails, the news, the opinions of others to be the first thing that enters your mind. You have handed the conductor's baton to 1,000 strangers before you even get out of bed. Starting tomorrow, that ends. The first hour of your day now belongs to you. It belongs to silence. Before you touch your phone, you will sit for 5 minutes in observation. You will practice your focus. You will connect with your breath. And you will quietly and clearly state your declared purpose to yourself. You are calibrating your inner compass before you set sail. This single change will have a more profound impact on your ability to defeat procrastination than any productivity app ever could. Second, you must become a ruthless curator of your environment. Your focus is precious and your willpower is finite. Stop wasting it fighting unnecessary battles. Go into your phone settings and turn off every single notification that is not from a real human being who needs you urgently. Social media, news apps, games, silence them all. They are the holes in your shield. Create specific scheduled times to engage with these tools. You are not depriving yourself, you are putting yourself back in command. You are deciding when the world gets access to you, not the other way around. You are treating your attention with the respect it deserves, as your most valuable currency. Why is creating a system of habits so critical? Because your conscious mind, your conductor, cannot be on the podium every second of every day. It gets tired. This is where the power of automaticity comes in. A landmark study published in 2006 by a researcher at Duke University found that more than 40% of the actions people performed each day weren't actual decisions, but habits. Think about that. Nearly half of your life is run on autopilot. Right now, your autopilot is likely programmed with habits of distraction and procrastination. By building a system, the morning ritual, the curated environment, you are actively reprogramming your autopilot for focus and conscious action. You are making focus the default. You are making procrastination the path of more resistance. You are putting your success on automatic. This brings us to the final part of your system, a conscious decision, a commitment. In the old stories, when an army crossed a river to conquer a new land, the greatest generals would give a terrifying order: burn the bridges. They did this to remove any possibility of retreat. With the path backward turned to ash, the only way forward was through victory. You must now burn the bridges to your old self. You must make a firm and final decision that the person who was defined by procrastination is no longer you. It is a past identity. You must stop talking about yourself as a procrastinator. That story is over. When you fully commit to this new identity, your brain will work tirelessly to create a reality that matches it, to forge this new operating system, to make it your new automatic state. Give yourself a 30-day challenge. Sum up in 30 days, you will practice these principles without exception. You will honor your morning ritual. You will protect your focus. You will practice your observation. And you will take one conscious action, no matter how small, toward your purpose every single day. After 30 days of this new inertia, you will not even recognize the person you were before. We have come far in this short time together. We began by staring at a symptom you have been fighting for years. We unmasked it, revealing it not as a character flaw, but as a signal of a deeper chaos. We diagnosed the real cause, the inner noise of a distracted mind. We learned to find stillness by becoming the silent observer. We discovered the ultimate driver of action, a purpose that is not found but created through the physics of faith, where your focused belief literally shapes your reality. And finally, we have built a system to protect your newfound clarity and power. You now see the truth. Procrastination was never your identity. It was simply the byproduct of a mind that had not yet been trained. You would not call a person who has never been to a gym weak. You would say they're untrained. Your mind was simply untrained. And now you have the training, which means the label procrastinators no longer belongs to you. It is a skin you have now shed. So who are you? If your focused mind can literally call a reality into being, if you can choose a purpose and align your energy to manifest it, then you are not a passive victim of your habits. You are not a procrastinator. You are a creator. That is your true nature. To create, to bring ideas from the world of potential into the world of form, to shape your life, your work, and your world with intention. That is the symphony you were born to conduct. Your journey of transformation does not begin tomorrow. It does not begin after this video ends. It began the moment you chose to listen, and your first act as a creator begins right now. The comment section below is not just a place for opinions. Today it is your first canvas. It is the ground where you will plant your mustard seed of faith. It is your public declaration to the universe and to yourself. So I ask you, as the creator you are, what is the first reality you will choose to manifest with your focused mind? Declare it. Write it down. Mind. Make it real. Your new life begins with that single conscious creative act. Begin.